Welcome to the Cambridge Power Platform User Group Microsoft Ignite viewing party. So the whole point of this party, and it is a party, there is beer present. The whole point of the party is to celebrate everything that's gone on Ignite this week. And we're here with my lovely two co-hosts. We have the most amazing Joel Jeffery, and I'm not even going to try your name, but I will let you introduce yourself. Ayca, is that it? Did I get it? Nearly?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. Who is a Microsoft Cloud advocate. So welcome everybody. And we are here to watch the discussion, watch the Ignite session from Jeff Teper. Mostly because we are SharePoint people here, or we started from a place of SharePoint, and you know, we really want to celebrate everything that's going on, and that Jeff was highlighting in his session of everything that's coming in the next 6 months, year from Microsoft. So the plan for today is we'll do a little bit of introduction. I'll tell you who I am in case you don't know, and then I'll introduce Joel. Hi, Chair. And then we'll have a look at the session. So we'll watch the session together. So that's about 35-40 minutes worth of session from Jeff. We'll then get into a little bit of Q&A. But during that session, let's get some questions over in the chat. Anything you want to talk about before the session, anything you want to talk about during the session, to give us some things to talk about and what you loved or didn't love from Microsoft Ignite this year. So we've completed Ignite over the last 3 days. It's been kind of rough from the UK because it's all been during the evening. And we're doing this session slightly early to be able to sign off by the real gin o'clock at around 5. So do join us. Jeff did set as a challenge that every time they mention the word transformation, we're supposed to have a drink. So have your drinks at the ready and do join us on camera. Not yet, Joel. Do join us on camera to do that cheers every time the magic word is said. And then we're going to be having a look at how you can get involved with the Cloud Skills Challenge right at the end. So let's move on. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Sharon Sumner. So I'm one of the leaders with the lovely Joel Jeffery of the Cambridge Power Platform User Group. I'm a massive evangelist of the Office 365, SharePoint Online, SharePoint Sharon, as I'm known on LinkedIn, platform, and therefore the Power Platform on top of that. Anything business automation, getting to value faster. I'm a Microsoft Business Applications MVP, and I do always say yes to a coffee, virtual or otherwise. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
My name's Joel. I run Jeff Teper Consulting, and I've been doing SharePoint since before it was called SharePoint. So yeah, 20 years of that, and yeah, building stuff on top of SharePoint. So business automation and beyond. So loving the world of Azure and that. Also, always up for a coffee.
Hi everyone. My name is Ayca, and I know it looks like Ayca, but we have different C in Turkish. I work as a cloud advocate at Microsoft. Before the advocacy role, I actually work in the field, again, at Microsoft for 4 years with the customers around Europe, Middle East, and Africa, mostly focusing on Microsoft Azure. Now, in the cloud advocacy, I'm focusing mostly in the Microsoft Graph and the Teams development with a combination of Azure solutions as well as Power Platform. So mostly we're looking for contents with all the exciting stuff as a combination of Microsoft 365 Dev, Azure Dev, and the Power Platform. And I'm super excited to be here as a co-host today. Thanks for having me. And I used to be blonde, as you can see in the image. I'm not anymore.
Love having you here. Thanks for joining us. So when we tweeted out that we were doing this session, we were going to have Jeff's session in focus. This is the response we got on Twitter. So apparently it is okay by Microsoft that we have a drink every time he says the magic word. And if anybody's got any suggestions of any other magic words, if they're said frequently enough, then do pop them in the chat and we'll respect those too. So do let us know in the chat any questions or anything you want to talk about while the presentation's on, or you want us to call out and have a chat about afterwards. That'd be fantastic. We're here to chat. We're here to talk about what's great, what didn't think was great, and what we think could be great in the future. So let's get started.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. We are excited to announce our latest investments to ensure your content collaboration experiences are intuitive, engaging, and flexible. delivered from the world's most robust, secure, geo-distributed content cloud platform in Microsoft 365. At the foundation of this is SharePoint. Over the last 5 years, we've transformed the SharePoint architecture to power innovative experiences across Microsoft 365. Office, Teams, OneDrive, Lists, Yammer, Power Apps, Stream, Viva, our new whiteboard, and much more. We provide unparalleled flexibility in content types, workflow, search, security, and compliance to address your growing content collaboration needs. And this week at Ignite, we are excited to announce Microsoft Loop, a powerful and flexible canvas that moves freely across applications, enabling teams to think, plan, and create together from anywhere, again, powered by our Content Cloud platform. We built this cloud platform together over the last decade. With your commitment and feedback, we've invested in fundamentals, user experiences, developer extensibility, and admin controls. And we're honored to see the growth of Microsoft 365 to hundreds of millions of users of Teams, SharePoint, and more. But what matters most is how we can support each organization. United Airlines unites the world to the moments that matter most and holding themselves to the highest standards in safety and reliability. With Microsoft, they're making changes to empower their frontline employees to drive efficiencies and improve customer satisfaction. By using the Teams extensibility platform, United designed and implemented UChat and the United Bot to power dynamic communications between their operations and flight crews. Analysts like Gartner and Forrester have recognized the acceleration of our innovation and our customer success in the cloud with Microsoft 365 and SharePoint. According to Gartner, Microsoft placed the highest in ability to execute and highest on both completeness of vision and ability to execute than any other company in the leaders quadrant. Forrester had a similar assessment, including highlighting our significant enhancements to collaboration, communication, and compliance, including Microsoft Viva and the strong end-to-end collaboration capabilities and integration across our productivity tools. This innovation, customer success, and category leadership is only possible because of the support of the best community in tech. Your engagement with customers and events around the world and feedback to us has inspired us to do our best work, including all of the news we're going to share today. So a virtual ongoing round of applause to the best community in tech. Thank you so much. So to kick off these announcements, let me introduce my friend Lincoln Damaris, a longtime contributor to our content services, now applying his learning and leadership to grow our Microsoft Lists offering. Lincoln, are you ready to co-author this Ignite session?
Thanks, Jeff. Finally, it's time to check co-authoring with Jeff Teper off my bucket list. I'm so fortunate to be here to represent a lot of great people and work behind our innovative file experiences and new ways to track and organize information throughout Microsoft 365. With OneDrive, we've been focused on making it easier for users to organize their files and folders and quickly get back to the most important ones. It's the reason you can access and share files from almost any Microsoft 365 app, and it's why your team can work on files together in real time. In the OneDrive web experience, we took inspiration from the quick access list in Windows Files Explorer to create a list of places you've recently accessed or opened a file from. You can pin these places so you can easily and predictably get back to what you've been working on. Add to OneDrive is another powerful way to take any shared folder or document library and keep it in your OneDrive for easy access later, on the web, on your PC, or on your phone. We listen to your feedback, and now you can organize those shortcuts the way you want by moving them into any private folder you create in your OneDrive. We're also continuing to improve the experience for sharing files and folders across OneDrive and SharePoint. One new feature we added is the ability to see at a glance who has access to a shared resource already. We also made it easier to share to teams. You can specify the name of a recipient to send them a link in chat, or the name of a channel to send the link there. OneDrive is a nexus for all of your files. I've got one more thing to show on that theme. Now, when you record a Teams meeting, it's saved directly to OneDrive. This brings easy access and intelligent experiences to all those valuable recordings. You can view the transcription of the meeting and instantly jump to the part of the meeting you're interested in reliving. And of course, living in OneDrive means that videos enjoy the same set of sharing, commenting, @mentioning, and searching capabilities as all your other files. Now I'm going to switch gears and talk about some improvements coming to Microsoft Lists to make it even easier to track information, organize work, and move forward towards common objectives. Coming soon is the ability to work with lists data in a board. This view is ideal when you want to track items as they move forward in a process or workflow. Moving items through stages is as easy as dragging and dropping. It's easy to configure which columns from your list are displayed in the cards and in what order. I always think it's nice to show off people's smiling faces whenever I can. The board view is just one way of visualizing and working with the same list data. In any list, I can switch to the grid view to see all the data in a table. I can point, click, and drag to update the status of many items at once. We continue to make steady improvements to editors in the grid view. One change I'm proudest of is our new rich text editor. It's a snap to click in and quickly apply formatting to items that need it. If you make a mistake, edits are quickly reversible. I can use the undo, redo buttons or keyboard shortcuts to roll back any changes I don't want to be final. Lists are for keeping everybody organized and on the same page. One feature we recently added that really helps kickstart collaboration is comments with @mentions. Just like with files, I can mention anybody in the comment feed, and they'll receive a notification with a call to action and link to the item. In addition, lists now support all the same link sharing capabilities as files, so you can easily grab a link that works for anybody in the world, or just scope to your organization. And all the goodness I showed earlier in the sharing dialogue, like the ability to see a list who's been shared with, is here as well. Organizations can now package up all this list goodness into templates and use audience targeting to make the right types of lists available to the right people. List templates are lightweight business applications that are a snap to create. They define schema, formatting, views, rules, automations, and forms inside a list. This maximizes productivity and accuracy while minimizing the time it takes your teams to get set up. Next, I want to talk about some improvements that will make all list users faster, more productive, and happier day in and day out. Lists you work with now get automatically synced to your Windows device, if that device has the OneDrive Sync app installed, and as long as the list contains 250,000 items or fewer. This means a lot of improvements to your everyday list experience. First, it means you can load the Lists app and view and edit list data even when you're offline. Second, loading and interacting with lists just got a whole lot faster, whether you're online or offline. Finally, views inside sync lists never get throttled, regardless of the number of items in the view or whether the columns are indexed. To summarize, lists are always on, lightning fast, and throttle-free as of today. We're pleased to announce that we've reached general availability with this exciting new functionality. This is a huge milestone for the team and the product, and we think you're going to love the overall user experience improvements. I'm also pleased to announce that the Microsoft Lists app is coming to Android devices early next year. Now, no matter what device you've got, iOS, macOS, Windows, or Android, there's a Lists app for you. If you'd like to join the external preview of this app later this year, please stay tuned for updates. Now that you have a sense of what's coming for files, videos, and lists, let me introduce my colleague, Ian Todd. He's going to share more about Office and Office.com, where collaboration starts and keeps flowing.
Thanks so much, Lincoln. I've made a list. I've checked it twice. It's great technology, and we're pleased to offer our way to start lists in the new updated Create experience in Office.com. With Office.com and the Office mobile and desktop apps, we've done a lot of work to infuse intelligence into the overall experience so that you can stay on top of all things, access all your tools, and quickly take action without leaving your workflow. We've also been working on new features starting on desktop to make sure you can find all your content or create something new and impactful. Let's dive in so I can show you what we've been working on. Okay, here, front and center, you'll see recommended actions. And you can see I have a few. I can join my next meeting from right here. And over here, Office suggests an item to add to my to-do list based on a request that Megan made of me via email. And something I really love, I can see that I've been mentioned in a doc, and I can just quickly click reply to go directly to the comment in the file to respond. Additionally, with this quick access section, I can use the quick access filters to filters for just the files I've shared or favorites. I can even add a custom filter if I want. Next, if I go in to see all of my content, here we're not limiting the number of files in your most recently used list. And you can use infinite scroll to see all the things you've been working on. You can see that we also have filters for meetings and people. I'll select people, and in this view, it's great if you know who shared a file with you, but don't recall the name of the file. If I look at meetings, I can see a history of my meetings and all the related content for each one. And the last thing in Office.com I want to show you today is the new Create experience. You get to it by clicking the plus sign. Create is your place for beginning something new. You can start from a template or by the type of content. The new Create goes beyond common Office files. I can even start a form, yes, a list, or post for Yammer. Here you can create files using templates. And something a lot of you have been asking for are company-branded templates, like these right here I've created for Contoso Electronics. For a deeper dive into everything happening with the Office application, don't forget to check out our breakout sessions to learn more about the desktop and mobile experiences. Check out the dedicated New Office breakout session, BRK 201. And now, I'm pleased to pass the baton to Naomi Moneypenny, who leads much of what we do in Microsoft Viva. Naomi, ready to run?
Let's do it. Thank you so much, Ian. Technology like Microsoft 365 and Teams have helped organizations adapt rapidly to hybrid work. Going further, we're hyper-focused on addressing that overall employee experience. We're now bringing the power of Pages and News directly into Microsoft Teams. Earlier this year, we delivered the ability to edit Pages and News directly in Teams. And soon, you'll be able to create them as well without ever leaving the Teams app. At the core of Pages is the authoring experience, and we want to make it simple and intuitive to use. Now, just check out some of the upcoming enhancements. We're integrating with Editor for grammar and spelling suggestions. We're surfacing more commands in our Canvas toolbars and support for inline images so you can have text right alongside your images. We also want to make it easier for beautiful design pages to happen, and so we're providing section templates that serve as a great starting point for building out your pages and news posts. Now I want to show you a few examples of what's coming next to Microsoft Viva to empower people and teams to be their very best from anywhere. Viva Connections is your gateway to the modern employee experience, and it's integrated into Teams so it's available right in the flow of work. Viva Connections is branded the way that your organization wants it. I can quickly access the key resources that my company ReliCloud wants to make available for me. I see personalized and relevant content like my sites and news. This is the best of the Sharepoint app bar integrated directly into Teams. The new company feed brings together content from across Microsoft 365 services like Yammer, SharePoint, and Stream together in an engaging experience. As I scroll the feed, you can see we've got a news article, a video, we've got a post from Yammer all together in this fast and fluid company feed. I can like, comment, share, and save this content for later. Oh, I love that post. As a communications professional in ReliCloud, I can also use new capabilities like Boost for internal news articles to help them reach our employees, putting them front and center at the top of the feed. Now let's move over to the dashboard. This is designed to enable employees to complete tasks quickly. This is both for frontline workers and information workers. My dashboard consists of a set of cards that surface information, enable quick tasks, and I have the same experience on mobile. You can see examples here, a health check app that helps with Power Apps, a quick view that's a SharePoint page for our company holidays, and an expense app, cafe menus, and more. We're using adaptive cards combined with SharePoint Framework as tools for you to design your dashboard. We'll deliver a set of out-of-the-box cards and support for personal apps in Teams so that you as our customers can implement everything from a no-code to professional developer solutions. Now, let's see how Viva Topics delivers knowledge right in the flow of your work. Have you ever scanned through a long thread in Outlook chasing for context? Let me show you how Topics can help. When Topics discovers knowledge, I get this simple invitation to explore, even if I don't know that topics are available in my organization. I can see the number of topics within this thread, and I get a summary of all of those have been automatically detected. Now, just hovering over that topic shows me the topic card, where I can get up to speed on the definitions and the different shorthand that people use for the same topic, and I can explore the related people and resources. When I'm replying to an email, I can purposefully add the knowledge from my organization with all that shared context by simply just typing in a topic. Your topics go across Microsoft 365, and we're bringing this same great experience into Teams as well. Similar to how you mention people, now similar keystrokes put knowledge to your every word. That's one small word for you, one giant leap of context for your colleagues' kind. And don't forget to check out the dedicated Microsoft Viva breakout session, BRK 204, to see all of the Viva news disclosed during Ignite. May you have great employee experiences and fluid page authoring to enrich your people and content interactions throughout the workday. Hashtag Viva for the win. And now, Jeff, back to you.
Thanks, Naomi. I am so excited about the early customer reaction to our new employee experiences built on Teams, SharePoint, Yammer, and so much more with Viva. Time to switch gears. Time to talk about trust. The foundation of all these experiences is the most powerful, intelligent cloud platform. Across Microsoft 365 and Azure, we've invested billions of dollars in the physical data centers and software architectures for the highest level of security, reliability, and performance. And we are investing more than ever to take the services we deliver to you to the next level, as you've told us how fundamental they are to your organization. On top of this base foundation, we've invested in the widest range of security and compliance insights and controls, and we have much more coming, including news today. We support your deployment of Microsoft 365 with Office, SharePoint, Teams, and more to empower collaboration inside and outside your organization. Recognizing the hybrid workplace requires working from anywhere with confidence.
Across continents, even underwater, we're investing billions to keep your content safe with sustainability in mind, all with an eye on the future of the SharePoint platform to deliver security, privacy, transparency, trust. We're committed to high-performance architecture, Azure Edge computing, multi-geo expansion, and AI-powered insights to refine and fortify the back-end infrastructure. What you don't see, our team working behind the scenes to provide innovative, fast, reliable user experiences that scale across the platform to fuel your apps, pages, files, lists, videos, and more. Microsoft 365 offers you the world's most flexible content management platform. And we're just getting started.
Hi, my name is Navjot Virk, and I lead a fantastic team focused on the true backbone for innovative user experiences, AI-powered insights, and intelligent security for content and collaboration in M365. AKA, a lot of what they work on is what you just saw in the video. We are so pleased to see usage and adoption grow year over year. Our team is listening to your feedback and is constantly optimizing the backend infrastructure. This year, we're focused on faster uploads and downloads in parallel to supporting massive storage growth and a global footprint, so your users can have the best experience wherever they may be located. And you can have the best security and management controls for your data. We know that the journey to use all the newest and latest in content management and collaboration starts with moving your users and their content to M365. Known Folder Move, or KFM, keeps your desktop, documents, and pictures folder protected in OneDrive, no matter where you're working from. And we are pleased to announce that we are bringing KFM to macOS with the same admin controls as you're used to on Windows. We're also bringing the silent account config settings to macOS, so you can automatically sign your users in and deploy KFM seamlessly. In this case, the IT admin in my organization has deployed the setting to enable KFM on my Mac, and I'm prompted to protect my desktop, documents, and pictures folder with OneDrive. I can select which folders to opt in, and once I confirm, those folders will automatically start syncing to the cloud. With KFM enabled, when I save files to desktop, they're automatically protected in OneDrive. I can share them securely with others. I can easily recover previous versions if I need to. And of course, I can access them from anywhere. Earlier this year, we launched a public preview of the OneDrive Sync admin reports for Windows devices to give you more visibility into who's signed in, who has KFM enabled, and who has sync errors preventing files from being uploaded to OneDrive. The sync admin reports help you visualize progress when rolling out KFM and figure out if there are any issues that need to be addressed. With the new custom filtering functionality, you can filter to just Mac devices, view which users are protecting all 3 folders or have errors. In this case, you can see I'm only protecting the desktop and documents folder on my Mac, and I have no errors. You can also filter to only devices that have errors to see if there are users you want to reach out to help address any issues. In addition to KFM, we also have migration solutions to help you migrate your content from on-premises and other cloud services to Microsoft 365. Using Migration Manager, you can centrally manage your migration from various sources. And we're now expanding the toolset to help with various stages of your migration journey. As a first step, we're announcing the general availability of the assessment functionality for box and file share migrations. You now have actionable insights into your source environment to effectively plan your migrations and know what to watch out for. Once items are ready to migrate, you can now group them with tags and schedule a migration based on your organization's plans. For SharePoint on-premises customers, you can now migrate SharePoint workflow directly to Power Automate. You can select Workflow Migration option and run the migration task by following the wizard. All it takes is to simply provide the source site and then enter the destination. After the migration is completed, the flow owner can sign into Power Automate, navigate to the right solution, and validate the migrated flows. And once your content is in Microsoft 365, you can now make it work for you. We are pleased to announce intelligent content assembly features coming to Syntex early next year. You will now be able to easily create templates from your existing Word documents, add placeholders for dynamic text in the document, and publish these templates. Generating content now is just a matter of using these templates and filling in the value of the placeholder fields, either manually or automatically, using data from a list or information extracted from other files using trained models. In addition to building content with Syntex, you can also apply sensitivity labels to existing files in your enterprise. So where models are applied, sensitive files are automatically detected and labeled. Here I am in the Syntex model creation experience. I can now select a sensitivity label appropriate for this model. And when files are uploaded to this document library, as you can see, the sensitive files are detected and labeled automatically, ensuring right policies are applied. We're also continuing our investment in sensitivity labels by adding more policy controls, like my favorite one, the new Granular Conditional Access. For example, the top secret label can now have a conditional access policy that requires multi-factor authentication when accessing top secret sites. Imagine, as a site owner, I have a business need to create a top secret site, and I want to make sure it follows the right policies. I can simply apply the top secret label to the site, and the rest is taken care of by the service. When users access the site, they will be prompted for an additional factor of authentication, like in this case, the one-time passcode. This is such a powerful policy, giving admins flexibility in managing access to their sensitive sites, and users a simple and secure way to access their resources. And now, let's talk about ease of management. With growing adoption of teams and channels, we heard your feedback to simplify management of teams and channels connected sites. So now, when I go to a Teams connected site in SharePoint Admin Center, I can see all corresponding channel sites, and right from here, I can ensure that right optional security policies are inherited from the parent site. The same site information panel is also going to be available in M365 Admin Center and Teams Admin Center, so you can easily manage your sites from anywhere. We're also expanding our Insights story to help you easily see what matters most in your organization. With our new Data Access Governance Insights, you can monitor sharing activity to detect oversharing. You can review, monitor sites based on the type of sharing. You can quickly see important information about the sites, like sensitivity, level of access from an unmanaged device, or if the site can be shared externally. And sensitivity label reports allow you to review and monitor the sites where sensitive files are stored. Like me, if you want to dive into details, you can also download the detailed reports, which show the top 10,000 sites, so you can easily slice and dice that data. Data access governance helps you see the panoramic view of your digital real estate and ensure the right set of policies are in place for the sites that matter the most. And finally, I have one last capability to share with you. I'm happy to announce that now you can rename your tenant without having to jump through the hoops of migration. We know many of you have waited a long time for this, and we have been working diligently to make this a seamless experience for you. I hope you're as excited about these capabilities as we are. Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Navjot. Now that you've seen engaging content experiences backed by powerful secure admin controls, let's check in on the latest when creating custom solutions for your organization that increasingly run inside Microsoft Teams. Hybrid work has accelerated the need for simplicity, bringing all your tools together in the flow of work. At Build this year, I announced our framework for this with collaborative applications. This lets you customize Microsoft 365 with third-party and custom apps that run across all your devices to meet your organization's needs. We give you a lot of flexibility in how you do this, including content collaboration solutions built on the Sharepoint framework, the Microsoft Graph, and Power Platform. Let's first start with templated solutions. There is so much you can do and accomplish when you combine best-of-breed applications and components into repeatable processes and governable workspaces to accelerate time to productivity. To get us started for what's to come at the platform layer, let me introduce Kathy Du. Kathy, welcome.
Thanks, Jeff. Transforming work and allowing your employees to stay in the flow of work means staying in the flow of your unique business, safely within your IT boundaries for secure content access, data sources, and third-party services. One of the best things about SharePoint and Teams is how separately they provide world-class collaboration. And when you combine them together, that boundary disappears. With our newest Microsoft 365 connected templates, we're bringing both into one seamless creation flow, no matter where you start from. Let's look at them, though. Today at ReliCloud, we're starting up a new project, and I'm going to create our new team using the project management Teams template. When we create this team using the template, the project management channels and apps and the connected SharePoint template is applied automatically. Critically, the pages, lists, and the Power Platform integrations are pinned right here in Teams. And best, all of these pages and lists are fully editable right in Teams. Not only is there a large set of apps available for use today, but if there isn't an app for the solution I need, we can use the SharePoint framework and the Teams Toolkit to build the apps that I need. These custom tab apps can integrate and extend your solutions across the platform with third-party tools securely. Starting up a new project reminds me that I need to schedule some time off. And with Viva Connections being integrated right into the flow of my work, right here in Teams, I can easily switch from my project team over to my employee resources, whether in the office or on the go with my mobile device. I can view my dashboard and see on our custom well-being dashboard card, built using SPFX, that I have days off remaining. Let me quickly submit a request. It's just that easy. In minutes, with our platform integrations with SharePoint, Teams, SPFX, Microsoft Viva, and the Graph have made it simple for me to achieve my tasks from anywhere. Now it's time to dig into further customization options. Yina, are you ready to show everyone how Microsoft 365 data can enhance their collaborative apps and hopefully approve my time off request?
Absolutely. Hello, friends. Kathy just highlighted how collaborative apps can also integrate Microsoft 365 data scoped at the user, group, or organizational level. I would like to share with you a little bit more about how Microsoft Graph makes that possible to easily bring Microsoft 365 data into your solutions as a developer or as a data professional. Each of you has been asked to innovate, to build smart, robust applications, all while putting your organization and people at the center. You need a gateway to the Microsoft 365 data state with access to Office, Teams, Outlook, Windows, and all Microsoft 365 has to offer, all in one single place. You want to be able to unlock organizational insights, and that's where Microsoft Graph comes here to help you. First, let's see how easy it is. In the time of app, the user's calendar in the UI was using Microsoft Graph Toolkit. Using the toolkit, you only need one line of code to authenticate, and then one line to add the agenda web component into the page. And that's it. It's that simple. I encourage you to try it and have a look for yourself. You will find a wealth of web components and React components for people cards, people pickers, file upload, and much more. We know that as developers and data professionals, the data that your organization manages and how that data is used is top of mind. And Microsoft Graph has you covered. All data used by these applications, be it user, group, or organization, can be consented by the tenant admin on deployment. And if you're a partner building applications for external customers, you can go even further to increase the trust of your application by becoming a verified publisher, and then getting your applications Microsoft 365 certified through Partner Center. And then you're closer than ever to fast adoption. Now, the controls in Microsoft Graph Toolkit, which uses the Microsoft Graph REST APIs, are great for interactive applications surfacing real-time data. But there will be times that your business needs to go deeper into insights that depend on larger data sets, and this is where Microsoft Graph Data Connect comes in. Microsoft Graph Data Connect is an Azure service designed to let you set up regular secure exports from Microsoft 365 to the Azure data repository of your choice. You can try it today using one of the solution accelerators we have available in GitHub. In this particular example, we're using Microsoft Graph Data Connect, Azure Synapse, Cosmos DB, and Azure Machine Learning to infer skills and topics of interest related to the engineering domain using email signals. The resulting application shortens the time to staff projects by quickly identifying the right resources with the right skills to form a team. Finally, Microsoft Graph goes beyond Microsoft 365 data access and export. It also allows you to import your content into Microsoft 365 through Microsoft Graph connectors. This gives your users the flexibility to find any content, including content from other cloud sources or on-prem, and then use Microsoft Search in SharePoint, Windows, and being at work. You can even include this external content in e-discovery collection processes and Office.com, giving your users the power to see all of the data of their organization in a single pane of glass, side by side with your collaborative apps. So if you're a developer or a data professional, Microsoft Graph is here to help you build people-centric experiences. I am excited to see what collaborative apps you build on top of Microsoft 365 data. Jeff, back to you.
Thank you so much, Ina. It's so great to hear of all the work that you and your team are doing to enable the next wave of flexible and secure people-centric solutions. We shared a lot today, and there's so much more in the sessions you do not want to miss. To learn more about SharePoint, and Teams, and Viva, and Office, and more, visit aka.ms Ignite ODSPV Guide, where we've got links to content and all the sessions. With all of Microsoft 365, we offer you the most flexible, fastest growing, and most innovative content collaboration platform in the industry. Please keep telling us what you like and share your ideas for how we can make you and your organization as productive as possible. Lean into the content and collaboration capabilities to transform hybrid work with Microsoft Teams. Dive into Viva to enhance and embrace employee experiences across your culture, well-being, knowledge, and growth. Customize and build your own user experiences on top of our platform. We work to earn your trust and keep it in secure, reliable, compliant, geo-distributed Microsoft Cloud, designed with extensive security and compliance controls and insights. to keep you in the flow of work and maintain data governance. I want to thank all the presenters who joined me today, representing the work of thousands of people in the product development team to build the most flexible content collaboration solution in the industry for all of you. Thank you, and have a great Ignite.
Okay, I didn't want to talk over it if it was still playing for anybody. But that was a really cool session. I think I'll have to agree. And here's to Jeff, who didn't say transformation once, so clearly doesn't know how to party, just saying. Nice little trick there, Jeff. That was packed. I mean, I know we were commenting all the way through if anybody was watching the comments on that, but there was so much great stuff in there that's coming. The whole, I thought the OneDrive stuff was really amazing for a start, but then it just kind of got better and better. Offline lists, who's not going to love that, right? I mean, I just think there's an awful lot coming in there. Joel, what was your favorite bit?
Yeah, things like the list board view. I mentioned in the chat, we have a product that's probably going to make less relevant by the lists board view coming to general availability, but at the same time, that's awesome. It's offline, it's in Teams, it's in SharePoint, it's ubiquitous. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. What else? The migrations. So yeah, migrations is fantastic. The ability to bring stuff in from Box and Google and other sources. But what that's going to leave you with, if you come from a source that doesn't have much in the way of metadata anyway, don't just bring it into SharePoint or the Office 365 world the same shape it is in, if you import a file share, including all the subfolders, then you only have yourself to blame. That's on you. You need to extract the inferred metadata from that, do an information architecture job on it, and manage that. And for that, there are still some third-party tools out there. And yeah, those are mentioning no names, Casper 365 and others are available. Those are going to elevate what you end up with after doing a migration.
Yeah, I mean, we do an awful lot of work in the transformation side. Oh, transformation side of the world. So there's a great deal of migration effort that goes in all over the place. And I think, I've done articles out there about there is no such thing as lift and shift. Don't bring your baggage with you. You had a headache, you were trying to move to something better. Lift and shift in terms of a migration, as in moving the data, isn't really what migration is about. It's about looking at the business processes and how the business uses the data and what a positive change could be made when you're doing that migration. So I still think you do need, I may be biased, but I still think you do need a business view on what it is you're trying to achieve in that new platform, rather than just making the data digital. But I think some of the other features, again, looking back at that list stuff, it's getting dragging the settings down the list. It's getting so much more like an Excel type experience, which I think is a really positive thing. And I think a lot of that is coming from the speed that we can do stuff in the browser now with all the fluid controls, but also that connectivity, right? So slightly biased, but the graph stuff, Ayca, that was kind of special, right?
Yes, exactly. And I guess in the graph area, Yina mentioned really good scenario with the Graph Data Connect, because it is the scenario most of the customers I work with are looking for, especially during COVID, because they want to see what's happening in their org. They just want to see how their employees doing, if they're able to work in good working hours, or they basically want to get more insights if everything is going good, because we are not in the office environment anymore. We just need more information about what's going on. So I guess with the Data Connect, we are able to enable creating real good real-time dashboards using Azure Synapse, and Cosmos DB. She did a great demonstration on that. Also, the Graph Data Connectors. I love that demo with the Graph Data Connectors. I think it was really nice scenario where you search and find whoever you're looking for. And one of my favorite, actually, I kind of have a bias on the Graph Toolkit, because I feel like Graph Toolkit is a really good way to explain a person who doesn't know what graph is for the first time. So she showed the Graph Toolkit usage in Teams, I guess, with the calendar view. I think it was really good because it basically visualizes how graph works, and it is kind of easier to understand for the person who just starts building stuff with graph and basically Microsoft 365.
Yeah, and I think that's a really great introduction, and it was nice to see it there. And I mean, a lot of the stuff that we saw there is just a glimpse of the various bits and pieces, and we all kind of know that this is Ignite, so we're announcing it. We don't necessarily have it yet, so this is kind of coming. But a lot of that stuff collectively, that's a lot of great stuff coming, right? Really great.
Yeah. I guess one of you mentioned in the chat that Microsoft lists versus databases. I guess that's a good discussion because, of course, all of us use databases in most of the apps, but lists are actually offering really good solution for some of the app backend scenarios. Not only the front end. I know it has a really good UI for the consumption for the end user, but also it also has a potential to use it in the back with the APIs, so you can get the data. First of all, you don't have to pay anything else for another cloud if you have Microsoft 365 license. If you already know how to build apps with Microsoft 365. Second of all, it looks really easy to manage your own data using lists.
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge always, and Joel, I know you come across this a lot, is how that thing is going to scale, right? So how big is that actually going to get? And certainly from our point of view, when you're using the Power Platform, you've got to think about, delegation queries, etc. How you're going to filter that data on the way in, so you're not trying to load a great big data set, because even the limit that was displayed there on how many items you can have in a list, it's still smaller as to how many items we can work with in an app structure. So you've still got to think about how your data is stored, is going to scale, and is going to be usable. So for a true database, I'm still a massive fan of Dataverse. But Joel, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It's the difference between can you do something and should you do something. So we've had a situation recently where a particular customer wanted assets brought together from different asset systems into a SharePoint list, and yeah, that's okay. That we went and built that, but in order to make that scale, there's quite a few hoops you have to jump through. And bearing in mind the integration side of that isn't desktop, so you don't have a lot of the fast list offline capability. You've got to be using stuff like the Vroom API or other ways of being able to quickly get data. And as lists get bigger, you still have to have recourse to things that aren't encumbered by even the 250,000 limit. So things like the search API is still your friend. That means predicting the scale early to be able to get things in place to make things happen and stored in the right way. Beyond that, there will come a point when if what you think you want is a database, then yeah, you do need to use a database.
Yeah, agreed.
But it's that continuity, that continuum of development, really, that sort of spectrum. So and it's brilliant to see that out of this Ignite, Microsoft has doubled down on many of its investments over previous years, and the ways that we have been developing things for Microsoft 365, for Office 365, are still the right way to go, and that there's a sort of path you can follow. So one end of the spectrum, you've got no code, low code development in Microsoft Forms, Power Apps, Power Automate, and you can build things out of that. And then, in terms of the UI, you've got list forms, Microsoft Forms, Power Apps, SPFX web parts, if you want something that's truly custom, and then other systems that you can build in Azure on top of that, and other cloud providers are available. Then where does the logic go? So you can stick the logic in Power Automate in flows. You can, if you need to manage that in a slightly different way. So instead of making it user-centric, it's more as a sort of service. Then Logic Apps, the bigger brother, is still a very viable place to put that otherwise Power Automate style code. And indeed, the two syntaxes are, broadly speaking, interchangeable, and you can move from one to the other.
Yep.
But as you scale beyond that, then function apps are probably your friend. That's the place to put. So we have function apps in Azure in many different kinds of language, depending upon what the purpose is. So we got some in PowerShell, some in Node.js, some in C#, none in Java. Won't have it in the house. I'm sure there are really good reasons to do it in Java. And beyond that, other things in Kubernetes, I never know how to pronounce that. Other places in Azure where you can write that more developer-centric code. And then the glue to hook these together, okay, you can stick your data in SharePoint. You can have SharePoint and O365 things triggering flows or triggering stuff in Power Automate and so on. HTTP triggers, those are still something that we use as a way of being the glue between processes. Beyond that, you're reaching out to Azure and using storage accounts, so blobs and tables to store that. All of that you can use as triggers and as data sources or repositories from a Power Automate flow or from Logic Apps or from function apps. And then ultimately, where is that data going to reside? Excel files. You can start there. So you can have things happen in a flow when somebody adds a new item to a table in an Excel file. If you wanted to, by the way, you could front that with a Power App that puts the thing into an Excel table that triggers the flows. So you can, whatever you're comfortable developing in, you can use that as a stepping stone onto the next one. So after Excel files, SharePoint list is probably a great place to put stuff. You've got more flexibility, actual data types. Although data types coming to Excel columns, that's cool, instead of just string and numeric. So yeah, beyond this, I think you mentioned, didn't you, Sharon, Dataverse as an excellent place to put data. And it's excellent because it's SQL Server with ++. So you've got all of the good stuff around that. But Dataverse and SharePoint List does give you something better than SQL Server out of the box. It gives you row-level security, which if you have to implement that from the ground up in SQL Server, good luck with that. That's a development effort. That's something to get wrong. Whereas, in SharePoint, we can put, whether it's a good idea, we can break inheritance on a single list item if you must.
Plus it's extensible, right? So you can jump from Dataverse, you can virtualize those tables once you've gone up to a data lake and you're using Databricks. And, and one kind of area, if you think about, we've talked about platform, we've talked about data storage, on top of that, as I think you pointed out, Ayca, during the presentation, heavy investment in that AI layer, right? Entirely heavy investment there to look at, we've got AI Builder, we've got all of the cognitive, etc. services within Azure, but now they're being baked in with things like Syntex and all of this tooling where we can. I do love that the hashtag is back, by the way. That's kind of cool. And I really liked the session that Microsoft did where they showed you the feedback of the topics where, if somebody is typing and, I don't know, they mentioned Project Blue and that could reference a card, it's not entirely clear whether the person writing it put that reference in for you or not. So they've decided, okay, well, let's let you do it deliberately with a hashtag. And so I think that's really clever usage because we've all got used to at mentions. I don't know what people actually call them, atting people, whatever you call it. I think we've got used to that syntax nicely. And I think it's really nice to bring that tooling in that lets you actually leverage that data that we've managed to store in a connected and completely integrated graph environment.
So one of the tenets that is going to underpin that is that you only get to see what you have permission to see.
Yeah.
And otherwise it's going to freak a lot of people out. So customers were freaked out by Delve. What, people can see the documents that I'm working on? No, they can only see the documents that you have shared with them, or they have permission to otherwise see that you have been working on. It's refracted through the what do you personally have access to, and that is going to be transformative.
What else was announced at Ignite that got everybody excited? Has anybody got anything in particular that they want to talk about? I know a big one that's going to create a lot of buzz is the Power Platform Pay As You Go. Has anybody seen it, looked at it, had any thoughts about it yet? I mean, I think it's going to be a really good one, but I think it's really useful to look at things like AI Builder and those kind of services that are very much consumption based, and look at those as pay as you go, because they're not used all the time, but when you want them, you need them there. So I think that's going to be a really interesting model moving forward. And I know we don't have any real detail on how that's going to flesh out just yet, but I think that's going to be coming over the next 3 months, and I think that's a really exciting development.
I totally agree with that, because when you think about Power Platform, you don't usually use all of the products at once. And it is now using almost the same mindset with the Azure products. When you consume one Azure product, you're not supposed to pay the entire Azure. Like, there are 200 different products. Maybe you're more interested in the Power Virtual Agents, or you're doing something with Power Automate. It is always nice to see that you have an option to, if you have one flow, then you'll just pay for that flow, and that's all. I guess it is easier for developers to play around and do some POCs and understand. And if they want, then they can build something enterprise with pay as you go. I think it's a really smart move.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I mean, we used to, when we first went into the Power Platform, you didn't have to license it up to a certain point. We could do maybe 4 or 5 proof of concepts with a business before we got into a heavy licensing scenario. And that was a great time, because by then you can very easily prove the value of the license. But I think moving backwards to be able to offer something that allows you to do that, I think is a really sensible move. Joel, do you think that's going to have good uptake with your customers?
I hope so. I mean, the other thing that kind of plays into is the ability to buy some of the Power Platform as an end user, or as just a non-centrally controlled, non-IT controlled purchase of licensing. That might make the landscape more difficult in terms of governance, but should do good things for uptake.
We do love a governance challenge, though, right? I mean, that's what it's all about in our industry. So I think what else was new was really exciting. We've got Loop coming, and I think
yes. I got really pumped for Loop, actually. I was working with the Fluid Framework team before. I actually have a colleague who is directly working with the product team, but having the end user focused product coming out of Fluid components is really, really nice. And I think the end result looks really inspiring. I didn't get a chance to try it out yet, but I guess for the collaboration purposes, it looks really inspiring. And I saw in the article that there will be some developer opportunities coming too. It was writing in the article, we can use some of the graph connectors with the Loop as well. I guess it will be announced in early 2022. I'm really looking forward to see what's coming up with Loop and the graph connectors. I think it would be really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Joel, you do a lot of on the development side, don't you? So how do you feel about the whole kind of fluid and fluid objects being able to be used across the platform like that?
I think it's going to be a huge transformation.
Good work.
And it means that we can have collaboration, deep collaboration on documents, on data. It doesn't have to be you send around a link, or you have co-authoring at a document level, and that's really going to make some interesting and kind of awesome user interfaces possible. And bringing that into the place where people do their work, that's what we've been after for such a long time. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I do think that one's really exciting. And I know some of these things, we're announcing and then we won't get them for a little while. And I think that's come to be accepted with some of these big conferences, because you can't just have everything go live all at once. Although what did go live was the whole Viva suite, right? So we now are able to play with all the fun stuff we've been hearing about on Viva Learning, etc. Have you had a play yet?
My tenant still says not available yet.
No, okay. We got it.
Coming soon. Oh, thanks.
Right.
That's nice to hear.
But also, I mean, I know that the API is coming later. So is that something that you're seeing on the graph side of things, you know, where there's a lot of excitement around integration with those tools?
Yes, I guess Viva is offering a lot, and we even have a Learn path for Viva right now. They just managed to publish those with the Ignite session as well. I'm glad that Viva is out now, so we can play it around.
Okay, so whilst we're waiting for that, so it's not really a an Ignite 2021 feature, but yeah, this is a feature that's recently landed for me and my tenancy, and the ability to share a whiteboard, an actual physical whiteboard. This is behind me. Hello world.
Oh, nice.
And sorry if this is old hat for anyone. But there's some writing, and I'm behind the writing. So I love that. If I just sort my lighting out, I can, you know, draw graphs and things, and I can. That's just awesome. I love that. Don't think I'll get bored of that.
That's nice to see it in real life, actually. I've seen demos of that, but not actually used it on a call. So that's very, very nice. Was there anything missing from Ignite, do you think, Joel?
I'll tell you when I've got to the end of it. It's I'm still sticking sessions in my backpack. I was not able to take the entire week to view this, but there's like how many tracks?
Oh, there's a shed load.
How many?
It was.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to hear more about the technologies and topics that are the stuff I work with day to day. But there's such a lot of varied new stuff. I've got enough for the next couple of weeks of viewing.
Yeah, same actually. I have lots and lots in the backpack. So one of the things I quite like, and I think it's really good from a mental health perspective, is the avatar that you'll be able to have within teams, right? So we have some younger members specifically of our team who don't always have the confidence to be on camera. And I think it does, you know, it takes a certain confidence to be on camera when you're that young. Especially these days when they've not had that much exposure to a workplace, they've come straight from school, etc., where everything is so much pressure on Instagram and all of those kind of things. So I think being able to have an avatar that is slightly animated, you know, and just being able to use your voice without just appearing as a little icon in the middle of the screen, I think that's a bit of a game changer for mental health, if I'm honest. I think that's a really nice way to be present without feeling like you've got to, you know, not be wearing your onesie. I'm feeling you got to appear in a certain way.
I've only just got used to top dressing.
Or maybe you don't want to put a makeup for a morning meeting. It makes a lot of sense. And then people call you, oh, are you sick? And then I'm like, no, this is how I look without makeup.
I'm feeling virtual today. I like the idea. I think it's really nice. It's possibly transformative. Joel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the first few weeks of lockdown, I must admit I installed the Snapchat filter just to see what would happen to make myself less unpresentable. And yeah, the female filter. Joel does not look good. It's worse than when Bugs Bunny dressed up as a female bunny.
Did you get a chance to check out the session with Teams Toolkit announcements? There was also new stuff coming up with Teams Toolkit. I was also really impressed with that, how they improved. Now in the Teams Toolkit, they put some samples, so you don't have to start from scratch, but you can basically start with a sample project like an in-meeting or a bot or a tab and so on. And I guess they're investing a lot on how to bring your existing app into Teams too. I guess Teams Toolkit was also in really good highlight for this Ignite.
I think we spend such a long time in Teams that any of the advancements are really well worth having. So I really liked the kind of, I know we're struggling with PowerPoint today, but I really like the kind of hover over in PowerPoint. But I think Cameo looks even better, to be able to kind of just embed yourself as part of the presentation, I think is much nicer than having to organize your presentation so that there's nothing in the bottom corner where you want to float. So I think that can come across really, really nicely, especially if you're doing sales presentations or anything like that across Teams, because it's all kinds of meetings that we have. It's not just internal, and I think that kind of gets a little bit forgotten. So yeah, I think anything that Teams can do to make those sessions more productive and more involved, and maybe a little bit different, and I always think that the adding of the expressions, I think was really nice. It gave you the ability to interact with the session without kind of feeling the need to say something in chat or come off mic and mute and say something. So I think it's really nice that those features get added. And it is a really additive platform. So we're just getting feature after feature after feature, but nothing's getting taken away at the same time. So it's just getting better and better and better as platforms go. I guess we need to wrap up because we kind of got talking there. So some of the things that we would urge you to do following Ignite. Firstly, there's feedback that you can give on all the sessions that you've attended. There's feedback that you can give on things that you've added to your backpack, as long as you've added it to your schedule. There's a lovely feedback site where you can go and tell people within Microsoft what you liked, what you didn't like about those sessions. And that's really important so that these events get better and better. Oh, excuse me, too much Guinness. There's also, let's call attention to the Cloud Skills Challenge. So for me, and I'll be putting an article out later this week about my journey on MS 700, the Microsoft Teams Administrator exam. But for me, getting those Microsoft exams is really important. They are not easy to fake, okay? The point with a Microsoft exam is you have to know your stuff to be able to pass it. So the Cloud Skills Challenge not only encourages you to go to Microsoft Learn, where all the content is that you need to know to be able to pass those exams, but for the exams that are in focus for Ignite, you can get an exam voucher to go and pass it. And that's kind of worth somewhere between about sort of 69 and 130 quid, right? So that's well worth doing. So go and challenge yourself, go and get started. As you can see, I've done it. I don't know if you can see that slide, but on the exam certification slide, you can see my little picture. I'm hoping to take PL 400. It's one of a challenging one for me, but I'm going to give it a go. So do go and have a look at the Cloud Skills Challenge and take advantage of the fact that Microsoft is there to help you learn the technologies that are coming along. So that would be my one takeaway from Ignite, is it's not just about the exciting technologies, it's about keeping up and getting those skills and getting those exams. Really shows potential employers like myself and Joel that you know what you're talking about and you can work with these technologies. It really does help. So I think with that, we wrap up. Thank you so much for attending the after party. All we can say is here's cheers to Ignite. Thank you so much to everybody for watching this video or for attending our after party, and transformation.
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 Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.